Good, happy Wednesday morning, March 3rd, 2021. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Wednesday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Wednesday morning, so let's begin. First up, no new deaths in New Hampshire from COVID-19 for third straight day. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9.
For the easy and the complex, the small stuff and the big, we're here with the affordable local loans, easy to manage accounts, and financial advice to help you blaze a trail, figure stuff out, and make your money go farther. We're Granite State Credit Union. Live bold.
Just in tonight, we have an update to the state's COVID numbers. There are 242 new positive cases today, putting active cases just over 2,200. That number has been dropping for several days, down to the level where cases were back in early November. There is one new hospitalization tonight, no new deaths to report for the third day in a row.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Local officials react to President Biden's order to vaccinate teachers and child care providers. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9, Charisse LeClaire.
What is there not to love about Franklin Pierce?
The Pierce Promise New Hampshire Scholarship Program is new at Franklin.
We want every educator, school staff member, child care worker to receive at least one shot by the end of the month of March.
Calling educators essential workers, President Biden handed down orders to states today in a COVID press briefing.
We'll be using our federal pharmacy program to prioritize the vaccination of pre-K through 12 educators and staff and child care workers.
We're excited. I mean, this is something we've been advocating for.
Educators have stepped up. They've been in the classroom. Most schools in this state have been open. Okay, that's been demonstrated. The public schools have been open. So it's now time for the governor to step up.
It's unclear what the next steps for the state may be. Currently, K-12 teachers and child care providers are next in the vaccine rollout. Phase 2A set to take place from March to May. The governor saying in a statement in part today, quote, "The sooner the federal government increases our supply, the faster we can ensure those most at risk are safe and be in a position to move on to teachers." The CDC has said schools can reopen safely now, regardless of vaccinations, and that must be our priority. One thing that may help, two of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, Johnson & Johnson and Merck, will join together to get millions of doses out to Americans 2 months faster than initially projected. And now those teachers union reps say no one wants to be back in the classroom more than educators do, adding that continuing to open up schools will also allow parents to return to work. Reporting live, I'm Charisse LeClaire, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Strong winds knock out power for thousands in New Hampshire. Derry residents sent to the hospital after tree crashes into home. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin.
Over time, the flue tiles inside your chimney may become damaged from water, age, or even a chimney.
The damage is extensive and widespread. In Portsmouth, Middle Street shut down after a tree falls onto power lines and snaps 7 utility poles. In Henniker, a tree hit a home, causing extensive damage in the bedroom. Thankfully, no one was hurt. This massive tree came within inches of crushing 2 cars as well as a home in Guilford. Ashley Kosoboom was working across the street.
It seemed like it fell in slow motion almost. We thought for sure it was going to fall right on top of either the truck or the car.
Cindy Kleeman wasn't home when this tree landed on her Bedford home. Her neighbor broke the news to her.
She called me. She said, yeah, Sin, got a little problem at your house. There's a tree on it. I said, oh, my God.
Intense winds made a mess across New Hampshire today and knocked out power for thousands.
We'll be continuing to work around the clock until every customer has power again.
Eversource says restoration will be substantially complete by midnight tomorrow night into Thursday morning.
Especially when we're talking about some of the more significant damage and the more remote areas of the state, and also not knowing what additional damage we could take on.
Almost 100 crews are coming in from other states and Canada to help.
Very difficult conditions, the strong winds coupled with the bitter cold have made restoration conditions difficult for our crews.
Eversource says every region of the state was impacted by significant outages at some point, and some Granite Staters will continue to deal with the aftermath tomorrow. Reporting live, Mike Cronin, WMUR News Now.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. School choice bill presented in the Senate today. The House voted to retain the bill until next year. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
What is there not to love about Franklin Pierce?
The Pierce Promise New Hampshire Scholarship Program is new at Franklin Pierce.
The fate of education savings accounts in the New Hampshire House took a bizarre turn last month when lawmakers failed to meet a key deadline due to an amendment full of errors.
The amended language which is being sent over is coming back different than what we send.
State reps had to shelve their bill until next year, but school choice gets another shot in the state Senate. The basic concept underpinning what is now called Senate Bill 130 remains the same. Allow New Hampshire students to access the tax dollars that fund their education and use those dollars however they see fit. It's the much debated price tag that remains the biggest issue.
There are going to be families who are currently homeschool students and have children attending private schools that are going to access these education savings accounts. The most conservative estimate is about $50 million that's going to have to come out of the Education Trust Fund.
The Republican majority in the Senate passed education savings accounts in 2017 and will likely do so again over the objections of Democrats.
But I just can't see how moving funds away from public school systems puts us in any better position where I think we're already struggling now.
Others say kids and their parents are struggling even more. That giving them more freedom and more choice will be better for the education system and for students.
The pandemic has changed the way we need to look at education. Kids are not just in buildings now all the time. There might be children who need to do things outside of the classroom. And so having the funding follow them is really important to stabilize their education and make sure they have no gaps now.
In Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Man who fired at Barrington officer during welfare check found dead, officials say. Situation unfolded around 1:30 p.m. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Does your boiler or furnace vent into your chimney? The majority of chimney flues in New Hampshire are actually...
Police say a man who fired at officers outside his home has been found dead. Police say the officers were attempting a welfare check around 1:30 this afternoon on Cortland Way. Neighbors were evacuated and other departments responded to help. After several attempts to contact him, officers went inside the home and found the man's body. No officers were hurt.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New COVID-19 violations abduction reporting policy at Colby Sawyer College causes controversy on campus. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Kristen Carissa.
The National Fire Protection Association says you should get your chimney inspected and cleaned every year. Caesar Chimney is a veteran-owned business that serves
Colby Sawyer College created this form to report students for COVID violations.
The two primary goals are to keep our campus safe and to retain our in-person instruction model.
The school cannot say how the reports are handled or how many students have been punished.
There are some allegations of misbehavior that warrant a quick conversation and reminders. And then there's patterns of violations that, put the community campus at risk.
Which could result in getting removed from campus and having to learn remotely. Sam Mohammed says that happened to her.
We lose our housing because of getting groceries.
When she arrived back for spring semester, she says another student reported her for going to the grocery store before starting a 2-week quarantine. Her roommate was with her. It has also been removed from campus.
In the email say, stock up before you start your quarantine. And we thought we were in the limits because we thought that quarantine started the 19th.
Mohammed says the school will not return her $8,000 for housing. Administration won't comment on her case.
I just didn't think the school would do something that harsh for something that they asked the students to do.
Ashley Humphreys created this online petition.
We definitely got a huge response from friends, family, students of Colby Sawyer, alumni. They were really powerful, some of the things that people said. So definitely, I hope the school takes it into consideration.
That online petition can be found on our website at WMUR.com. Reporting in New London, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. U.S. force rocket hits airbase in Iraq, boosting U.S. troops. At least 10 rockets targeted a military base in western Iraq that hosts U.S.-led coalition troops on Wednesday. The coalition and the Iraqi military said it was not immediately known if there were any casualties. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and see you back here later on today for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.